we say this is all Maya, right? As we have learned that this is all Maya that's playing all around us. So if
Right.
I'm in Maya, if I'm having a play around me, and if I'm thinking that it is good, it is nice, I'm just playing my part nicely and let everything else be done by God. Having leaders who are supporting us so beautifully, who are taking care of us, we're not worried that this bomb will fall onto me today. We are happily doing our podcast feeling that we are safe in our house. That is the feeling of gratitude, where you give your gratitude to everything, for everything that you have. This is a big blessing that we have, and I am sure everyone in UAE today is so grateful for the leaders that we have, for the blessings that we have here. We have food, we have water, we have all the amenities for us. We can just go out. Only when the alarm comes, definitely we have to go and be in a safe place. You get healed when you go out in the nature. You get healed when you sit with people who are positive, people who think positive, people who have a positive mindset. So when we connect to such situations, when we connect to such people, we get healing. I'm telling that this body is so sacred because it's been given by God, and I'm so blessed to have this body. I'm so grateful, I'm so happy. So the kind of energy that I'm creating. So look at my face when I'm talking, I'm grateful. My face expands, my light shines, my smile appears on my face because I'm grateful. But if I say, I don't have all this, God, can you give me? Then it is, where I'm operating from a space where I feel safe. But in that space, if I say, no, this is God's plan, but I'm not liking it, let me take some steps, let me do this, let me do that. And being impatient, not able to recognize what is right, what is wrong. So that is a disturbed state of mind. So if somebody's state of mind is disturbed, definitely they cannot operate from a space where they feel that they are safe. And that's what creates the difference.
So next topic we have how state of mind works in this. What is the main role of state of mind to accept that gratitude?
Yeah.
How important and why it is important, the state of mind, if somebody is thinking about gratitude, so how it starts, can you explain please?
Yeah. So again, let's take the same example, how we are living here safely. So there are people who are actually, thinking of shifting back, who are thinking it is not a safe place. And just look at how we are operating. We are operating from a space where we are thinking, no, it is safe. The government will take care of everything.
Right.
Somewhere we have that feeling that when we are in that higher vibration, things will go as per the God's plan, because this is not our plan. We are all participating in what God has already planned for us. So it depends on our state of mind. If my state of mind is good, I'm in a good state of mind, I'm thinking positive, I will express my gratitude and I'll attract more. But again, if I keep thinking, keep cribbing for what is happening, or this is happening, that is happening, then again it shifts the state of mind of a person, and they go into, towards the lower curve of life. So that's the difference the state of mind makes. So whatever state you have, if you express gratitude, you can grow from there. If you don't have gratitude, definitely you go downhill.
How important for one to understand the value of state of mind
It
to
is it is
accept
very
that?
important, right? It is important because your state of mind, whatever you're thinking, whatever you're perceiving, is the world that is created around us. As we say, this is all Maya, right? As we have learned that this is all Maya that's playing all around us. So if
Right.
I'm in Maya, if I'm having a play around me, and if I'm thinking that it is good, it is nice, I'm just playing my part nicely and let everything else be done by God, then it is, where I'm operating from a space where I feel safe. But in that space, if I say, no, this is God's plan, but I'm not liking it, let me take some steps, let me do this, let me do that, and being impatient, not able to recognize what is right, what is wrong. So that is a disturbed state of mind. So if somebody's state of mind is disturbed, definitely they cannot operate from a space where they feel that they are safe, and that's what creates the difference.
Okay, so okay, let me just ask one more question because it is just a bit complicated. Because, before feeling the gratitude, a person should be healed, right? Because if somebody is not healed properly, they will not understand the value of gratitude. To
Okay.
having a proper set of mind where your mind is thinking in a positive direction, you need healing, right?
See, healing is something that can happen on its own also.
Mm.
We don't always need to go to a healer to get healed.
Mm.
So, as a healer, as a professional, some people may not agree with me because I will be losing clients if I tell this on the camera. But you get healed when you connect to your parents. You get healed when you connect to your
Right.
kids. You get healed when you go out in the nature. You get healed when you sit with people who are positive, people who think positive, people who have a positive mindset. So when we connect to such situations, when we connect to such people, we get healing. Even when we talk to our friends, it's healing for us. When we go out socialize with people, it's healing for us. When I'm talking of getting that healing done, it doesn't mean that you have to connect to a healer all the time. Healing is a process that keeps on going on its own. But at that same time, who is getting healed? I am getting healed if I am in a positive state. So that is what matters more, that if a person is in a state where they are positive, then only they can understand what gratitude is doing to them. So your question here was that whether a person is healed, then only they should go for gratitude. Anyone who thinks they are not healed and they tell their mind, on a daily basis, that this is what I have, let me just operate from what I have, definitely they will also get healed. So
It is
healing
very
can
important.
happen on its own also. It does happen on its own on a daily basis.
Means you mean to say it is very important to have the positivity around you, whether it's a group of
Definitely.
friends, or maybe it's a group of family members, or anybody. So you should
Anybody.
be
And if
having,
you don't
yeah,
have
a positive.
anybody to talk to, definitely you can refer, you can go to a healer. When you don't
Yeah.
have anybody to talk to, or you feel like you're not surrounded with people who are, in a way encouraging you. If you feel that people are taking you downhill, people are not supporting you, you are not having the supportive environment, or you are into a space where even doctors are not able to help you, in that case you definitely need a healer. And it is always good to go for alternative therapies when you are already taking, supplements, you're taking medicines and it's not working for you. Taking alternative healing does help all the time. So anyone who doesn't have, a friend or a family member to share their problems with, they can go to a healer and they can get their problems sorted.
So they can first, if somebody is not around them, they, instead of talking to any random person, they directly can seek for help.
Again,
That's
it
nice.
can create a problem for them if you go and talk to a random person. Nowadays we know that there are so many issues going on. We don't know how that random person is going to use your details, your personal details.
Right. That's true. That's true.
So be
Yeah.
very mindful of who you share yourself with. Sometimes what happens, people are living in a space where they think they're so much needy that they think that anybody who I connect to will help me. And they just go to people, they just meet random people and then they share their personal details, and
This is
then
what I do actually.
it can be a problem for you because you are opening up to people who don't even know how to help you, and they
Yeah.
will misuse the information that you have shared.
I want to tell my viewers, please be mindful. Maybe I am not standing where she's explaining, like I am also the one, who shares the problems with
We all do.
each and
We all
every
do that.
friend.
Agreed.
Each
Yeah, we all
and
do
for
that.
me, they are friends, but maybe for them, I don't know whosoever. So it is, you should be very mindful that before sharing your details to somebody, you should be knowing whether that person is trustworthy or not, right? Doctor, I would like to ask a very nice question from you. See, physical bodies. Do you really think the traumas and heavy emotions we carry throughout our lives, and maybe the from the past, if we are healed after that,
So
it
we
is still
carry,
there?
yes, we carry a lot of trauma into our bodies. So everyone will carry the trauma differently. If I'm feeling that I'm too much burdened, I will carry it in my shoulders. Okay. If the females that you see who are feeling like they are suppressed too much, you might find that they have thyroid issues, they have some or the other throat issues. So females, generally females who are suppressed, and when they have throat issues, when they are suppressing themselves, when they are not expressing, when they're not expressing their needs on a daily basis, and if they are suppressing themselves continuously, it can start hampering with their uterus, their internal issues, their fertility issues. So a lot of these females will have PCOD, they will have other issues because this can also be transferred through generations. So coming from your generations, coming from your lineage, if somebody had that, if you're carrying that trauma, because we carry the trauma of our ancestors also. So this ancestral
How?
trauma, of course, we are what our ancestors are, right? Our parents, we look like our parents. So do we just look like our parents, or we carry their, the way they talk, the way they express themselves,
Yeah.
everything, who we are today, We are a part of our mother and we are a part of our father, right? And
Means it is.
some of it may be coming from your grandfather, grandmother.
Wait,
uh,
you mean to say that the behavior in the house or behavior of parents or maybe grandparents or anybody's around you, your child will be taking it from you and it will go for the long ages, like for the long generations, right?
it will go on if it is unhealed. So we
I,
just don't.
I, Doctor, just one second. I would like to talk to my viewers right now. I'm really sorry to interrupt you in between, but yes, guys, please listen to her very carefully what she's talking about, because the behavior what we are showing to our kids today, maybe a husband or wife fight in front of kids, might be it's not affecting us because we'll gel up after 10-15 minutes. But what is the kid taking from you? It is something different. Please listen to her carefully so that you will understand how you are hampering your generations further.
Yeah.
Yes, doctor,
So,
now please.
which is very important to understand that we as parents, what we do on a daily basis, what I'm saying, that impacts my child maybe just 20% or 30%. But my actions, so what I do on a daily basis, how I talk to people. So many people think like, whatever I'm doing, my kid is just, observing, but they are listening what I'm saying and they are just learning what sanskars I'm giving, what I'm doing. No, we are made up of four types of beliefs. One is what I have grown up listening to from everyone, from my family, from my parents. These are my ancestral beliefs. Then I have beliefs that I have carried on from the generations that are there around me. What everyone says, that is collective belief. So what everyone says, money is hard to earn, this is something that the parents must have said, they must have heard outside.
Yeah, we are
And we
listening from
we
childhood.
we
Yeah.
operate from those beliefs, we keep operating from those beliefs. You must
Hmm.
work hard to achieve everything, this is also one belief that people operate from. So when you are operating on these beliefs that you have heard, you have listened, and that goes on. And if you know, as per science, your grandmother, so my mom's mother, was already carrying me, the cells within her. So she was already carrying me. So in a way, I was also listening because my mom was carrying those eggs when my grandmother was pregnant with me. This is scientifically proven, right? We already have that at the time of birth. So when those eggs are there, that impressions, they are going into that child and they get carried on to the further generations. That's how these beliefs are transferred. Plus our DNA. So when I heal myself, my 7 generations down and 7 generations up, they all get healed. Depending on how far I'm healing myself, with the general healing I'm talking about. So if I
So
go and
DNA also plays the role here.
Absolutely. Our DNA is also getting healed. So when we do the healing, the structure of our cells will change, the behavior of our cells will change, everything changes. So when I make changes to myself, when I change my behavior, when I change the, trauma that I have, it will impact my kids also. They are free from that trauma. So when a person receives or takes healing for themselves or does their own healing, they don't just heal themselves, they heal 7 generations down, their upcoming kids, their kids, and their parents, their grandparents, their great grandparents. So we are impacting more than 7 generations. Depends on how deeper healing you are doing. Just with one session, just with one healing, just imagine the impact that you can create if you completely heal yourself. And that is what fascinates me always, because the more healing we do, the more trauma we are reducing for our kids, the more trauma we are reducing for our upcoming generations. And that's how powerful it is.
Means I must say that you are doing a wonderful job, doctor, because as you know, we know each other. Like I am talking to with you for last so many days. So the way I talk to you and the way you explain me things, it's really commendable, because sometimes we get explanations which are not healthy or which are not satisfying your way of questioning somebody or maybe your heart. But
Definitely.
whenever I asked you any question, even on the calls, it was actually helped. It actually helped me always. Why? Because the answer which I got is satisfying. So that I must say, and I want to tell my viewers, as we always say, universe listens, universe listens. So why we are not feeding our family or our kids or our surroundings, or maybe anybody near us, or maybe kids friends or anybody, not a positive thing instead of saying negative stuffs. This is one of my
Like to
questions.
add something here, like you were talking about feeding. So just imagine of a mother who's cooking and she's in
Right.
stress, she's in
Yeah.
trauma. Like we were
Mm.
discussing about the aura. So the aura that
Right.
I'm carrying, that carries everything that I'm going through. So if I'm in stress, I'm in pain, that is radiating in my aura, right? And I'm cooking. So that all is going into the food also. And when I'm
Yeah,
cooking
this is
and
much.
I'm adding it all to my food unknowingly, the mother doesn't
Yeah,
want
yeah,
to do
yeah.
it,
Right,
right?
right, right, right,
She
right.
she is feeding that unknowingly to her whole family. But if
You
she's
know,
happy, just
this
imagine the vibrations she will feed. She will cook happily, and that's just an example of how we share everything on a daily basis.
This is what my father used to tell me always. And whenever I am doing any podcast, my father always is there. Why? Because things which I have heard from him a lot of times. So he used to say, when I got my first period, my mother said not to go in the kitchen. I said, why you didn't allow me to go inside the kitchen? Then my father explained me, because right now you are in a pain. If you are cooking something and the energy goes inside the food the way you are cooking, so people will get affected by that. And when you are sad or when you are not happy or in an anger mood, you should not cook, because we have seen the examples in gurdwaras and mandirs and maybe other places in churches and even in masjids as well. People are very happy to give something to somebody, and they are keep chanting the name of god. So that food has a different taste, though it has a less spice in it, right?
Yes,
So
definitely.
yeah, this is what I have actually listened since I was a small child, and
So
it is absolutely
adding
correct.
to the concern that you have here regarding the periods, I would like to add also here that women generally, in most of the traditions, we don't know why they are you know
Right.
made, why they were made. We don't know why the traditions were made, because they have been passed on to generations. So why, like you said, because you are not well, because you are having pain. So that was the reason women were meant to stay outside of the kitchen. They were meant to stay outside of those daily routine work, and they were asked to stay separately, heal in that period, take care of themselves, so that they don't go through the pain on a deeper level, because they need rest at that time. Secondly, why they were not asked to go to temples at that time is because at that moment when you are having your periods, the women, they go through a state where all the energy is going downwards. Our chakras or our energy centers are pushing the energy downwards, so that you can have those hormonal shifts. And that is the reason when we go to the temple, the energy of the temple is going upwards.
Hmm.
So if you go to the temple, it will not disturb God, it will not disturb anyone, but it will disturb your own cycle. It will disturb your whole energy system, because your energy is going downwards, the temple's
And if
energy is
somebody is
going
pushing,
upwards.
yeah,
So it will be an imbalance for you. And because
imbalance.
we don't even know the true story behind why these things happen, so we just follow them. And of course, due to the different practices, how people added their own bit of it, so because of that, it became like women should not be touched, we become untouchable. Still there are many many places where these practices are done, but the truth behind is, because your energy is very sacred, your energy is very pious, you're even more powerful that time. So we are asked to stay back home, take care of ourselves, nourish ourselves, rest well, so that once you are free from that, you are able to use your energy well, because we create a lot of energy in that time.
That's very nice, because a lot of time we don't understand why they are stopping us and we ask questions. Because what I have realized at this age, when parents or even grandparents used to stop for something, maybe they were not able to respond us in a way where they should do it actually. Because for me, it is very important, if you are stopping me for something, you have to give me a specific reason. So now we have a reason, and we have people with us who will understand actually, the brothers and the fathers and the husbands and boyfriends and whosoever next is. Please take care of your women, because women is a core of the world. If your woman is healed properly and being taken care of properly, means your world is satisfied, very nice and very calm. So, doctor, I just want to know, as we said about the periods. So, this is basically related to stomach issues, right? We
Yes.
feel heavy when we have these kind of emotions, and why that affects only the stomach means when we are stressed. This first, like the maths exam before the, that stomach starts sounding, and if something is happening in a way where we are very scared, why the first impact we feel on the stomach?
So our stomach is also called our second brain or our gut, because our gut contains, our core power. That is our power center. So if you touch your stomach, just below the lungs, or I'll say just above your navel, that area, that's your gut area, and that is
Okay.
where we have acidity, we have food poisoning, and sometimes people have stomach upset if they are very scared, very fearful. Why? Because that is your energy center. It is our core energy center. So whenever we are fearful, we feel fear because that's my core. That is where I am feeling that this is not nice, this is something I'm not liking. So that is also the space where you can find out whether a particular decision is good for you or it's not good for you. So that is also the place you feel butterflies when people are in love, when they are going to do something exciting. So because your core, your gut center tells you that this is something exciting, this is something good for you, and this is not something good for you. So that is where you can feel everything. And your gut is your second brain. So it tells you that as per the intuitive, awareness, you should follow this and you should not follow this. But most of us, we ignore all that intuitive feelings that we get in our gut.
Right. So one of my other question is, see, when we have a stress in our nervous system,
Hmm.
so how specifically we feel that means it can lead to any disease or maybe any kind of organ issues also if we have stress all the time with us.
So what happens is, generally, suppose if I'm going through grief. Okay, let's
Okay.
take example of grief. If somebody has lost love, it will impact your heart, right?
Actually, this is a question nowadays. Every second person want to know. You actually chose a right example, doctor. Why? Because everybody want to know what is happening next in their love life.
Definitely, we all go through stress in our life. We lose our loved ones. Either you lose them permanently or you lose them for some time. Some people may get dished in relationship, because this is something, I work with a lot. I do work with a lot of people who are dealing with stress issues, relationship issues, and as I told you, I'm a twin flame coach also. I work with twin flames. That's a separate topic that we'll discuss some other time. But to come back to our topic, so relationships, because our relationships are core. Because everything that I do is a relationship with me or with somebody else. So
Okay.
if I say my relationship with me is what defines how I will be with others also. So my relationship is what matters to me. But what happens is we ignore this person most of the
Doctor,
time.
I want to interrupt you here. As you said, the way we behave with us, the same way we behave with others, right?
Yes. No,
But
it's like a
sometimes,
mirror that we have. I'll clarify this point. It's
yeah.
like, you know, the way I behave with myself, or the way I'm, expecting others to behave with me. That is what I am doing to myself. Or in some way, that's my weak point. So if I'm feeling that I am lacking love, I may, be too needy around people. I may be
Hmm.
expecting people to love me, to hug me, but because I'm needy, I'm not going to tell them, okay, can I have a hug? Because I'm operating from ego also, right? In that moment.
Right.
So what happens is, the question that you had asked, let's go back to that question and we'll come
Yes,
back to
yes,
this
yes.
question
Yes,
once
yes.
more. So that was about emotions. So when I have certain emotions, if I'm dished in love, if somebody cheated somebody, they will store all that problem in their heart. And what happens? Where will you store? In this body, right? We keep storing into ourselves. The emotions are connected to each of our energy centers. And the emotions, mainly that are related to love, is connected to my heart. So, in that case, if it is very heavy for me, if I'm taking it like, as the grief is not something that I'm able to release, then it will keep impacting me. And further, when I keep collecting it over time, it will start impacting my nervous system. And as it impacts your nervous system, it goes to your cells, it goes to even the DNA. And that can manifest into a further any, terminal illness or a disease, which can, depend on how severe your grief is or how severe that emotion is. And this is something where people get trapped. We don't know how to get out of our emotions. We are not taught how to handle our emotions, because in schools we are taught how to take care of our physical body. We are taught at home how to take care of our physical body, what food to eat, but nobody teaches us how to take care of our emotions,
First
what
of
to
all,
do.
we don't understand how to say no even to people. Now
We don't know how to
we
draw
started
boundaries.
learning. Yeah,
We don't know how to draw
right,
boundaries
right.
because we were never taught what we were taught. If somebody says something, you have to always say yes, especially with
Hmm.
girls, especially with females. You should never say no. You should give your own food also, right?
Yeah.
If somebody is hungry, they're asking you for food, give your own food also. So we are never taught to take care of this person. We are always taught you should take care of everyone in your family. You should be very helpful. You should be very giving. But what about you? What about your own emotions? How are you going
Hmm.
to handle that? We are not equipped with that thing. We don't know. So that is something we all need to learn, how to take care of our emotions. So we need to be very careful of what emotions I'm going through. Am I able to go through them? How can I release them? So it is very important, if you're not able to do any kind of spiritual practices, at least do 7 chakra meditations on a daily basis, or do any form of mantra chanting, whatever attracts you, or just sit down quietly for some time with yourself, going inside and understanding what I'm going through. That's what you need. That's what we all need. Just being able to recognize that emotion that you have. And as you
Means
recognize it, slowly
there is a
subsides.
saying. There is a saying. No, chinta is next to chita.
Absolutely. The more you
Right.
worry and the more you keep increasing it, it can
Yeah.
lead to more, diseases and different kinds of problems.
Yeah. It is more dangerous than we are smoking or having an alcohol, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Both are
Because
equally
that.
deadly.
Yeah.
The alcohol and smoking addictions are even more faster. But,
We do
I'll
it
say that,
actually in a
yeah,
way where we are stressed, or maybe we are having some different kind of thoughts, then only the person start these kind of addictions. So that is
definitely that is
actually
also
one more
a
plus to your.
repercussion. That is also a repercussion of the stress that you had. So when somebody
Hmm.
is not able to handle the stress, they start indulging themselves into different forms of addictions. But what addictions do to you is, if somebody is into alcohol, or they're into smoking, it will numb your emotions for some time. For that
Sometime.
particular period time, it will be numb. But what after that? So that's why they go into chain smoking continuously, intoxicating different types of
Means
alcohol,
they are trying to divert always from the
trying
problem.
to divert from the topic.
Hmm.
So instead of diverting yourself, try and address the issue that's in the room. So that's why we always say, look at the elephant in the room. So that's the elephant that you're ignoring. Try and focus on the elephant. What is that elephant trying to tell you?
Guys, I just want to say it is one more plus if you are smoking and drinking alcohol. One more plus near taking you to the to the
And it's
side of
even more
where you'll be
faster
having
because having
lot of problems.
yeah, so if you have somebody has negative emotions, or they have trauma, they have grief, that will make a person sick very slowly. But if you are into any kind of addictions, that's like a very fast runway you have taken towards diseases like kidney diseases and different other kinds of problems in your life.
Hmm. So these, as we have discussed so many things. So I had another question. It was like a cell. Cell will always remember, and you have explained it in a well
Yes.
manner before. So, doctor, before we complete today's episode, I would like to talk to my viewers for a second, guys. This is today's episode is a random episode where you will be understand what we will be talking about in our further episodes. So this was the basics one should know before getting into the parameter of healing or any kind of modalities which is related to peace in the world or gratitude. So this is the basic information we gave you. Please listen to this episode properly so that you will understand that if you are thinking so much, or if you are thinking negative, you are actually transferring this to your generations, and you are spoiling your own families or own generations. So before we go further, doctor, just a last question before we wrap up today. The question, I just want you to tell our viewers a last suggestion which they can start doing from today to their lives, the practice which you can tell them to start from today itself, which can take them towards healing.
So I would suggest, gratitude, as we were talking about gratitude, is a wonderful practice to incorporate in your daily life. So what we can do is, just before you go to sleep, just take a separate journal, write down 5 things that you're grateful for every day. So that brings a positive shift into our life. We are able to understand and bring us to a state where I'm not just feeling that life is crazy, but I'm feeling that yes, I have blessings in my life. This is how I am blessed. This is good in my life. So the motive to do good, to do well in life, that gives you a better positive approach with gratitude. So include gratitude in your life every day, and that's going to create wonderful, things for you and manifest whatever you want to manifest in your life. That's my
You want to say
suggestion.
something else to my to our viewers?
So I would just like to say, love yourself, because this person who is here is the most important person in the whole world, because everyone focuses on our children, our parents, our spouses and everything. And in that process, of course, we should take care of everyone who's in our family. But in that process, we neglect this person. We neglect ourselves. So do not neglect yourself. Take care of yourself. Give love to yourself. Do things which you love to do. Enjoy yourself. Spend time alone, because if you are able to spend time alone means you're enjoying your own company. You love yourself. So give time to yourself. Understand what you're going through, and just address your emotions that you're having, and that will help you to create a beautiful you. So love yourself.
Thank you so much for your time, doctor, and thanks for really nice, informative knowledge you gave it to our viewers today. And I'm really happy that we'll be having more episodes, for this, because every time when we are making one episode, people are thinking what is next, how to ask for help. It's just a podcast, a single. There is no series and all. So we have a series every time we are talking about all the modalities soon. And I just want to tell my viewers, guys, please listen to it carefully. Please help yourself, help your family, because this world is very beautiful and we have so many things to explore instead of negativity. So be positive, be happy, and be cheerful and spread the peace in the world. This is what I want to say. And this is me, Sadhna, with you. And this is my channel, The Attitude of Gratitude. Stay tuned for more updates.